Imagine a country where the ruler decides the color of the vehicles of its inhabitants, alters the calendar at will, controls the media, restricts the freedom of movement of the population, and prohibits women from sitting in the front seat of cars. But don't worry, we're not talking about North Korea or Cuba or any other communist country. This enigma takes us to another corner of the world, an authoritarian regime shrouded in mystery, rarely mentioned in international news. Welcome to Turkmenistan. Located in the heart of Central Asia, this country, known for its deep history and vast deserts, is landlocked and home to a population of around 6 million people. It is marked by notable contrasts, from the immense areas of the Karakum Desert to the cultural legacy of the Silk Road and its capital, Ashgabat, distinguished by its impressive white marble buildings. With a history dating back millennia, this territory was a crucial crossroads of the Silk Road, facilitating exchange between the East and the West. In the 19th century, it fell under the rule of the Russian Empire and later became part of the Soviet Union. This influence has left an indelible mark on the country's culture, where local traditions blend with Soviet legacies. The predominant ethnicity is Turkmen, although there are communities of Russians and Uzbeks. Turkmen is the official and predominant language. In terms of religion, the vast majority of the population practices Sunni Islam, with a small percentage adhering to Orthodox Christianity. Despite the official promotion of religious freedom, there are restrictions on religious practices and the distribution of related materials. Under the authoritarian leadership of Serdar Berdimuhamedov, heir to former leader Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov, the country is characterized by its rigid government control over the media, the internet, and the public sphere. It is ranked among the most repressive regimes globally, occupying the lowest positions in democracy indices. Although mobile internet access has introduced some changes, true digital freedom still seems a distant goal in Turkmenistan. The government maintains strict control over the internet, monitoring all online activities and blocking most social networks. Those who challenge the rules end up imprisoned or disappear. While Turkmenistan's economic situation is shrouded in some mystery, international reports, such as those from the World Bank, indicate that the country's economy is primarily sustained by cotton production and the exploitation of energy resources. This country is among the world's leading cotton producers and boasts one of the most significant reserves of oil and natural gas globally. Most of its exports, which include these vital resources, are directed towards countries such as Iran, Turkey, Ukraine, Italy, and Switzerland. On the other hand, its imports mainly come from Turkey, Russia, and the United Arab Emirates. However, the population does not enjoy the benefits of this trade. The economic benefits derived from exports are channeled into the political sphere and the construction of a luxurious capital. Ashgabat, the capital, is known for its opulence, with luxurious and ostentatious buildings and monuments that, while impressive, are largely superfluous, like luxury attractions that almost no one can access, and bronze statues of the leaders. Despite having nearly 1 million inhabitants, Ashgabat is characterized by its desolate avenues. The fear of government repression and omnipresent control creates a climate of isolation among the citizens, leading to the capital being nicknamed the Ghost City. Regarding individual freedoms, Turkmenistan is frequently compared to North Korea, both competing to be recognized as the countries with the most restrictive and authoritarian policies. Regimes that practice the cult of personality tend to glorify a leader to divine levels, a reality in both North Korea and Turkmenistan, where the idolatry towards their leaders reaches alarming extremes, manifesting in education and the daily lives of people. Since breaking away from the Soviet Union and gaining independence in 1991, Turkmenistan has been governed by a succession of authoritarian leaders. The recent political history of the country has been dominated by figures who have implemented increasingly extravagant and repressive policies, in an apparent competition to leave a mark of authoritarianism and eccentricity. The leadership of Turkmenistan has been marked by the figure of its presidents, who have woven a history of unparalleled authoritarian rule and cult of personality. The first president, Saparmurat Niyazov, ruled from 1985 until his death in 2006. Initially heading the country as the General Secretary of the Communist Party, he later proclaimed himself President for Life. Niyazov took the cult of personality to unprecedented extremes, implementing peculiar laws and promoting his own veneration above all else. With the publication of the Runama, a book he wrote himself, which became mandatory reading throughout the education system, and for obtaining public employment or a driver's license. Niyazo cemented his influence in the daily lives of citizens. He also made capricious changes to the calendar, naming months in honor of his mother and his book, and went so far as to ban cultural expressions and habits, such as dancing and smoking in public places, even prohibiting people from owning dogs. State resources were allocated to grandiose projects that glorified his figure, neglecting the general welfare of the population. After Niyazo's death, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov took over the country in 2006, initially showing signs of more pragmatic leadership. He eliminated some of his predecessors' more extravagant policies, reinstating the traditional calendar and reducing the omnipresence of the runama in public life. However, this apparent openness was short-lived. Berdimuhamedov soon established his own cult of personality, consolidating his image in all spheres of Turkmen society. In 2022, the presidency passed to Serdar Berdimuhamedov, son of Gurbanguly, perpetuating the political dynasty. This transition marked the continuation of a regime that has maintained a tight grip on the country, where dissent and freedom of expression continue to be severely restricted. The political history of Turkmenistan thus reflects a sequence of authoritarian leaderships, where the cult of personality and absolute control have been constants. The transformation of Ashgabat into a dazzling city is one of the most notable and controversial aspects of the Turkmen government. With a predominance of white marble constructions, it is estimated that the city houses more than 500 buildings made of this material, according to local reports. This ostentation occurs in a context where many people in the country face severe economic hardships, and hunger is a reality for many. The leadership of the country has been characterized by its inclination towards the extravagant. The president's hobbies include activities as varied as fishing, knife throwing in front of troops, automotive design, and even DJing at social events. This marked contrast between the luxury of the Communist Party elites and the unmet needs of the citizens underscores the authoritarian essence of the regime, which went so far as to close hospitals in rural areas, forcing those seeking medical care to undertake exhausting journeys to the capital. One of President Berdimuhamedov's beliefs is that white is a color that brings good luck. In an unprecedented move in 2014, he ordered all government vehicles to be changed to white Mercedes models. In the following years, the import of dark-colored vehicles was banned, and finally in 2018, it was decreed that all cars in the country had to be white or, failing that, silver. The measure led to the confiscation and fining of vehicles of other colors in the capital, forcing their owners to adhere to the regulation under threat of sanctions. That same year, an even more controversial regulation was implemented. Women were restricted from obtaining driver's licenses or driving vehicles. This decision attracted international attention and criticism, being considered a significant setback in gender rights. In Turkmenistan, the notion of democratic elections is practically non-existent. The current leader, Serdar Berdimuhamedov, boasts electoral victories with margins approaching 100% in processes similar to North Korea's electoral practices. This situation worsens when considering press freedom, which is in an even more precarious state than in the aforementioned Asian country. International journalists are denied access, and the number of tourists the country receives is very limited due to visa restrictions. Despite the stringent government control, the capital, Ashgabat, is characterized by its imposing structures, many of which remain unoccupied. The few tourists who manage to enter the country are subjected to constant surveillance, and their mobility is restricted to the capital. In an attempt to clean up its authoritarian image, Berdimuhamedov organized the 2017 Asian Indoor and Martial Arts Games, for which an Olympic village was erected. After a few weeks of use, it was practically abandoned, all this after an investment of $5 billion. Similarly, Ashgabat's airport was renovated at a cost of $2 billion. These grand investments contrast with the government's lack of transparency and the significant challenges in human rights, freedom, and democracy faced by the Turkmen people. Strategically located in Central Asia, Turkmenistan holds approximately 5% of the world's natural gas reserves, making it the fourth largest reserve of this resource globally. Additionally, the country is self-sufficient in oil production and stands out as one of the world's leading cotton producers. Despite its vast wealth in natural resources, Turkmenistan faces a significant challenge due to its landlocked geography, complicating the export of its valuable resources, especially natural gas. The most feasible option for exporting this resource is through pipelines. However, this alternative is not without obstacles, mainly due to the dependence on routes crossing neighboring nations. Most of Turkmenistan's gas exports are directed to China, transiting through a pipeline that passes through Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. Additionally, there is a pipeline that facilitates gas trade with Iran. In an effort to diversify its markets and reduce its dependency on the Asian giant, Turkmenistan has proposed the construction of a new pipeline that would cross Afghanistan and Pakistan, with India as the final destination. However, the political volatility in these countries poses a considerable challenge to the realization of such a project. In the political context, Turkmenistan experienced a significant change in March 2022, when Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov handed over the presidency to his son, Serdar Berdimuhamedov, marking the third power transfer since independence in 1991. 2 years into his tenure, the new leader has introduced few innovations in terms of policy. However, he has emphasized the continuity of his predecessor's strategies, raising concerns about the persistence of a repressive approach to governance, maintaining a regime of prohibitions, limitations, and restrictions on the fundamental freedoms of the population. In the vast Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan lies a unique tourist attraction, the Darvaza crater, also known as the Gate to Hell. This impressive crater has a diameter of 70 meters and a depth of 20 meters, and has been burning continuously for over 4 decades. Its origin dates back to the 1970s when Soviet explorers searching for natural gas accidentally drilled into a large underground cavity, causing the ground to collapse and releasing methane gas. To mitigate the risk of toxic gas dispersion, they decided to burn the gas, expecting the fire to extinguish in a short time. Contrary to their expectations, the methane combustion has kept the fire alive to this day, offering a visual spectacle both fascinating and eerie. The crater emits an orange glow and palpable heat, visible from considerable distances, becoming a point of interest for travelers from around the world. The Gate to Hell is an emblem of the vastness and mystery of Turkmenistan. In summary, Turkmenistan, with its vast wealth in natural gas and cotton, positions itself as an economic giant in Central Asia, marked by the desolate beauty of the Karakum Desert and the enigmatic Gate to Hell. However, its development is contrasted by an authoritarian regime that severely limits individual freedoms. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your like and your comment. See you in the next video.